Hey guys, back up here at my favorite place to be. Decided to just come on and do a little recap on last night's grief talk. If you weren't able to tune in last night, we did record it and it's on our Grief Recovery Guam and CNMI page. We shared it so you could do the replay. Some amazing, heartbreaking, transformational stories from both our grief recovery specialists and some beautiful people that took our program. So please tune in if you didn't have an opportunity to and watch it. I will warn you that it is long. I think it's like 2 hours long. So do it when you have some time, or watch it here and there to get the full footage. But it was amazing. Thank you all for coming out, those of you that came. If you were there and you're interested in doing the grief recovery method, please direct message us on that page and someone will get hold of you. We'd love to help you begin your healing journey. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is honoring our loved ones. And today I want to honor an uncle of mine that passed away last night. My mom got the news on her way home from our talk, and she immediately messaged me and told me about it, and I didn't see it until the morning. But my Uncle Tony, he was an amazing man, but he was also sick for a long time. So I want to honor him in this way and talk about loss of health and how that can really bring on a lot of grief to not only the person that has lost their health, but also family members. So one of my best memories of Uncle Tony was when my daughter Kiana was going to turn 7 years old, and we were going to have a birthday party for her, and her theme was Lilo and Stitch. And Uncle Tony volunteered to teach Kina the Lilo and Stitch dance, which was super cute. He came to my mom's place at least once or twice a week, I think. It was such a long time ago. Kina's already 23 years old. But he used to come down to Tiden often before the party and teach Kiana these moves for the Lilo and Stitch hula dance. We got her an amazing outfit. He got her flowers, her lace. Everything was so beautiful. And then on the day of her party, he did even something more amazing, and he brought his dance troupe to the party, and they danced with Kina. So she was the star, center stage, but she had all of these seasoned dancers dancing behind her, so made her look like she was a seasoned dancer herself. But this was the first time that she's ever done hula. And then Uncle Tony sat in the front row of the audience and did his hand movements so that Kina would remember how to do the dance. And so she did it with so much grace. And I just am so grateful for Uncle Tony for doing that and making that birthday so special for my daughter and for all of us. And then one of the more heartbreaking memories that I have of him was, as he was getting sick, and I remember him coming to my house. Uncle Tony was such a powerful man. I remember him growing up and really just had this powerful personality, loved to laugh, loved to squeeze the kids. But then when he got sick, he talked much slower. He, moved much slower. But one of the things that I always remembered about him when he was around us was he thanked us always, was always so grateful, and always said, "I love you." And so there was one day when he came to my house. He was actually, I think, looking for my mom and Uncle Ron, and they weren't home. So I actually happened to be home, but I was on my way out, and I didn't want to leave him there. So, I invited him in. I made him a sandwich, and I actually had him clean up a little bit because he looked like he got cut up, or I guess maybe from walking so far. And then I waited for my mom to come home so that she can help take care of him when she came home. But Uncle Tony was just so grateful, even just for the small gesture of making him a sandwich, because he was super hungry. He was so thirsty, and just sat there and just talked to me, and with these loving eyes, and just reminiscing about when I was a kid, and the kind of uncle that he was. And again, said thank you for taking care of him and waiting with him until Mom came home. and then telling me he loved me. So Uncle Tony's no longer suffering. It's definitely a sad time for all of our family, and he's definitely going to be missed, right? Lots of great memories with Uncle T. But I think that we can all agree that he's not suffering anymore. I know that's an intellectual comment, and a lot of people will say, especially if they have a loved one, that, you know, that still hurts, it still breaks their heart. And absolutely, right? That's grief, right? We can be in this mindset of, we know our loved ones aren't suffering and we're glad they're not suffering anymore, but we miss them. And so yes, absolutely, Uncle Tony's missed, and we're all definitely sad that he's gone. But I think also very grateful that he's no longer suffering, because he suffered for a long, long time. So, you know, we love you, Uncle Tony, and fly high with the angels, and say hi to Frank for me. So I wanted to talk a little bit about him and tell some of my memories. But I also wanted, you know, to just come on here and really reflect on the loss of health, because loss, again, or grief isn't just about the death of a loved one. A lot of people suffer grief throughout their life, and a lot of times it has to do with because their health has deteriorated, or they're suffering with some sort of health condition for many, many years before their body gives up and they can't do it anymore. And not only does that take a toll on them, but it takes a huge toll on the family members, and people change so much from losing their health. Uncle Tony was such a different man when he got sick. He went from being strong and laughing and talking loud to talking slower and quieter, and just not always, you know, knowing what was going on around him. And so he changed significantly from his health condition, and it was really sad to watch. But you can relate if you've got family members that are suffering, right? Or maybe you're bedridden, and it's horrible and heartbreaking to watch them lying there and you can't do anything, right? So loss of health affects not only the person that is suffering, but it also affects the family members in ways that you are grieving even before they die. And sometimes that grieving can go on for years. And so I just want you to embrace all of those human emotions that come with loss of health, fear, not knowing if they're going to be alive tomorrow, sometimes even wishing that they could die so that they don't suffer anymore. Those are true feelings too. And acknowledge that, right? Don't feel bad for how you feel, and just acknowledge your feelings, but also allow your loved ones that are sick to acknowledge their feelings and their fears. And when they get to a place where they know that it's their time and they have the courage or peace and they want to go, acknowledge that too, right? Even though it breaks your heart and you know you're going to miss them. And so loss of health is a huge one, guys. It's one of those things that as grief recovery specialists, we definitely can help you work through that while you're living. Because I think that life and living should be so much about creating memories and living a life that you are at peace with and have joy in. I'm not saying that you'll never be sad or you'll never experience all of those other human emotions, but you don't have to stay suffering and stuck in those ugly human emotions, right? So, Uncle Tony, this is for you. We love you and we miss you, and you know, I can't wait to say goodbye to you at your funeral. But fly high with the angels, and you are definitely going to be missed, and lots of great memories as a kid having you in my life. So guys, I just wanted to come on really quick to talk about that. And again, if you didn't make it last night, please tune in on the replay on Grief Recovery Guam and CNMI, and listen to some of the amazing, heartbreaking, transformational stories that were told last night. Hopefully one of them are going to relate to you, touch your heart, and then listen to how we can help you take those actions to begin your own healing journey. So have a great weekend if you're on Guam, and happy Friday for those of you that are just waking up in the mainland. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Bye.